You want to start?
Yeah, let's hit it. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur and you want to know the struggles you need to go through and what it takes to become one, you should stick to this video.
I think with us, mainly the enjoyment of listening to us and in the background of the automotive industry. If you guys want to know what automotive industry is all about in space, follow us and you'll get to see what we do on an everyday, to-day basis and the advice we can give when it comes to the automotive industry, because it is an interesting industry to learn about and get into.
How's it, guys? Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Today we're going to give you just a bit of a background, like where we started, where we came from, how the company was founded, and all of that. So I hope you enjoy the content. Stay tuned to, like I said, hear more about us. If you like it, please subscribe, share the page. You know, everything you do helps us grow the channel, and yeah, watch us have some fun. Okay, so let me start by introducing my partner here on my right, the co-founder to B+D Auto Body Spares, Brandon Caldera.
Space for days, but
And myself, Delizo Baptista. So I'm going to hand it off now to Jazade. He'll be asking us
ask us the right questions.
some questions. So let's see what you want to know.
First question. What inspired you both to venture into the auto body business together?
I've got a answer for that one.
Might be a bit different, but yeah, Brandon can take it off.
I think the main thing is just to want more. Never mind business itself. Just to have a little bit of a vision, a plan to start a business. We had an idea what we wanted to do, but it's more of having a plan, starting it, and executing the plan. And it's a passion for us. We enjoy what we do. Spares is our thing. I mean, we love what we do. We like cars. We deal with parts. I mean, we wouldn't want to go and work in a butcher or into meats or anything like that. We enjoy what we do. And we got a passion for it. I mean, we got a passion for people. We got a passion for space. We got passion to interact with customers and the passion to give service. I think that's what we're all about, me and Delizo, and I think you'll agree with me. We got a passion to deliver service. We get a kick out of it. It's more of, not selling the parts, but the customer giving us feedback and telling us, listen, we're so impressed with your service. We haven't gotten service like us in the spares industry, which we get that a lot. And that's what drives us as B+D to do more. And that's what drove us from the beginning when we started. We started really small. And what got customers to come to us is the service we gave. That was actually number one. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I can agree with most of that. I mean, I'd say a lot of it was fairly similar. It's more like testing your ability, I'd say. Because we were at before, our growth was probably limited quite a lot. We had a lot of ideas. When you're young, when you bring even young people on, you got these big ideas. You got these big aspirations you want to get to, and there was a limiting factor. Obviously, we were previously. So we decided, okay, we knew each other well. We basically grew up together. So who else? When we trusted each other, obviously that's a big factor when you go into business with anybody. And what's stopping us? Especially like I was saying, we were young, and there was very little. There's always risk. Don't get me wrong, but the risk was a lot lower compared to starting it when you're older and you've got a family to provide for. So you always had us. I'd say I can speak maybe for the both of us. Always had that burning desire to really start something, to really grow something, to really push the limits of our capabilities. And when you reach that blockade and someone's blocking, you just move away. And that's what we thought. Okay, listen, the only way we can maybe achieve this is by doing something on our own, starting our own, and then see where our ideas and our ideologies take us. And I mean, sure, we've grown a lot now, but I mean, I don't think, at least for myself, this is not where we want to be at. We want to stop here. We want to grow and push this company and see where we can take it to. We want to take it to a whole new level. and God willing, that will happen. And we'll obviously do our end as much as we can to push this. But yeah, like I said, we just said, we just knew, like when we used to speak to each other before even starting this, maybe might not have been space, could have been obviously something else as well, but the desire was there. It was always there. It's just like to push it.
And I think that's the main thing with anyone that's starting a business. I mean, you don't really need money. You just need to have an idea, and you need to really want it. I mean, there's people that want to start businesses, but they don't know what it takes to start a business. There's a lot that goes on in the background that makes a business tick. And I think that's advice I can give from my side when I started my business venture, is that you gotta really want it badly. You gotta want, every morning you get up in the morning, you gotta want to be ambitious, have a plan, be motivated to do the same thing every day, execute the plan, do more, want more. I think that is the game changer. I think people, they want all these things. They want their business to be in a certain level, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the time. They don't want to do the extra things, improve the business. So that is my advice for a business to be successful. All you need is just a bit of motivation, the drive to want more. And I think if you have that, the sky's the limit. If you got a plan and you work hard at it and you're really motivated to want something, anyone can get what they want. I believe in it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the discipline. I mean, obviously there's going to be days where you just don't feel like going to work. It happens.
Narco's one of them.
It's one of them. There's going to be days you just don't feel like going to work, or you just don't feel like doing something. You must understand, it's discipline. Push yourself to it, because you know it's the end goal you want to get to. Like as mentioned, there's going to be days you don't feel well, or you just not in the mood, and that will just slow you down.
But I think that's where the motivation and the desire comes from. I think if you want something, to get up in the morning is easy. To get up in the morning and do what you need to do is very easy, because that's in your DNA. You want to have more. You want to grow your company. You want to expand. So yeah, that goes into motivation. So a lot of people forget that. People think that they can just have a business and it will run on its own. No, you got to be motivated to do more, push more, expand, employ the right people, train the right people, get your brand where you want it to be. So I think that's what me and Delise are about. Like for us, B+D is more than just a brand. I mean, it's our heart, I guess. For me especially, I mean, B+D is in my heart, is in my DNA. And it's not even about the money. It's more about building the brand. I see us having 50, 60 stores nationwide. I see us having massive warehouse, supplying our stock to all our stores. So it's not more for money. It's more for building B+D, growing B+D, growing the name, and see what we can do with it. See, from nothing, we started with literally nothing. I mean, we literally started with 5 or 6 bumpers. I mean, Marco can vouch for that. And we started with literally nothing, and we slowly grew to something. We had a plan, and we're slowly implementing our plan. But like Delisa said, we're not where we want to be, but we're in that process of going there. And we know if we do our steps properly as business partners, as B+D, we will definitely get there sooner rather than later, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Brandon mentioned now, I mean, we started like super small. Like even if I show you that, if I show you the pictures, you wouldn't even believe it. It's very small. We started extremely small. So that's what Brandon said. I mean, money is not the limiting factor when it comes to opening your company or business or whatever the case is. Even with the money we started with, I mean, we started with very little money. You could give that to somebody else today and nothing would happen. I mean, you could give us maybe 10 times the amount we started with to somebody else, and it just doesn't work. I mean, like you was mentioning now, it's more the desire to make it work that will make it work. I mean, chucking money at any problem, or in a company just to make it boom, might not make it work. Because in the beginning, you are everything in the company. You are the salesman, you are the secretary, you are the accountant, you are the sweeper, you're the cleaner, you're doing everything. Because literally you can't afford to pay anybody to do these jobs. You're not making that type of money yet. Like, look, don't get me wrong, there's certain things I hated doing. There's certain things I obviously wouldn't do today. We've obviously employed people to do these type of things. But obviously knowing that, listen, we can't afford anybody to take over these tasks, and you have to do it. And that's was one of the sacrifices you're going to have to make, especially when starting up your own thing. There's no one there pushing you. You know, it's very different working for a boss. The boss tells you what to do. You have your job description. Here's the things you do, X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3. And if you're starting your own thing, there's no one telling you to get out of bed. There's no one telling you, make this phone call. There's no one telling you, finish this list or whatever you need to do, pack this stock, make this deal. There's no one else is pushing you to do this. You are your own driver. So, like I mentioned, it stems from how much you want it, because literally there's no boss telling you, push, be on time, do these things, whatever the case is. So, because it stems again from how much you really want to do this and where you want to take it to. So, like I was mentioning, in the beginning, you literally, like I said, you every part of the company, you do everything. So you learn a lot of skills by doing these things. You make a lot of mistakes, don't get me wrong. Mistakes are normal. We still make mistakes today. Because as you start progressing in your company, things get bigger, you face more challenges. It's just normal. You're outgrowing your systems, you're outgrowing certain things. And if you're not making mistakes, you're just not learning, you're not progressing.
100%.
So we embrace struggles and mistakes. I think I mentioned to you this other day. You know, it might suck at the moment. You know, you might feel like, oh, why am I going through this right now? Embrace it. It's literally the best thing that could happen for you. You have to go through it. You won't learn if it's not hard enough.
Look,
it's not
I
rewarding.
truly believe in that. If you're not making mistakes, you're doing something wrong.
No, of course.
And if you're making mistakes, you learn from your mistakes and you grow from it. If you're not making mistakes, then there's a problem.
Yeah, if you're not learning from your mistakes either, it's a massive
And that's
problem.
another problem. Me and Delizo, we made a lot of mistakes because we didn't know. We didn't have the guidance of someone telling us, okay, don't do this, don't do that. We had to learn from them. We made mistakes, but we learned from them. And we moved forward. And I think that's the most important, I think.
Yeah, so
Learn
like
from your
literally helped
mistakes.
us in the beginning, making these mistakes and being everything in the company and doing all the things. You obviously build a lot of skills from that until eventually, you know, you can hire people that can do things better than you can. I mean, even as an owner, you're not good at everything. Let's just be honest. I mean, you're okay at most things. Maybe you're brilliant at one thing, but that's when like the time will come is you have to now recognize, okay, what am I not good at? Can I really learn this? And if you can, cool. But eventually, there's only so much you as an individual can do. So then you still have to start, this is where people come in and why people is so important. And the people you hire is so important to the massive culture in your company, because they'll be the biggest driving factor and the biggest growth factor to help you grow. You could bring somebody in, so now when it comes to, I'll use an example for you in media. Obviously, I know a bit about it, but not enough to really make it big and or take a lot of my time to do these things, and I'll have to go through a lot of learning and a lot of failure with these type of things, where now we can obviously shortcut that by bringing someone in with experience. Once you start growing a little bit, your people are your most important aspect in your company.
Like for you, Delizo, what do you think was the biggest challenge for us when we started being because obviously, you know, like spares is a lot different to opening a takeaway
Yeah, of
or
course.
a restaurant or a supermarket. So for you, what do you think was a tough thing when we did start being what do you feel like it was?
Sure. Okay, the biggest challenge I said in the beginning, look, I don't know, I don't want to say it and sound like, you know, arrogant. In the beginning, it was kind of weird, I won't lie. The feeling I got, obviously, when we started, it's just everything kind of worked out. It was kind of weird. It's hard to explain. It was stressful, but also peaceful at the same time. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I think we were obviously blessed by it from God already from the get-go. I never had any fear it wouldn't work out. I don't know how to explain. Look, trust me, even in the beginning, sure, sales are like almost non-existent. It was, oh yeah, it's quiet. I mean, when you start off a company, things, we didn't start a franchise. You see, it's very easy, or easier, let me just say easy, but easier. When you're buying a franchise, the name's already known, you got customers off the bat. Whereas starting a new company name, a new franchise, a new brand, it's getting the word out there. So things are very slow in the beginning. It takes obviously a lot of perseverance. I'd say once we started getting going, our biggest challenge was staff and people. Us learning how to employ the right people, these type of things, and dealing with theft and all that type of thing. That I would say is a big challenge, especially for us at that time when we started to really grow, because then we couldn't do it ourselves anymore. And then we had to hire salesmen and these type of people and training them, because parts is tough, especially when it comes to secondhand, is the knowledge. You have to know what you look at.
How do you balance innovation and tradition in your business model, considering the constant changes within the industry?
There's actually a very simple answer to that. You just got to be on top of everything and be above everyone else before that time comes. I think you need to be one step ahead constantly. I think you need to always evolve, always improve, find ways. I think that's where me and Delise are quite good at. And we've got a good communication amongst us as partners. Find ways to improve the business, find ways to grow the business, find ways to make people aware of B&D, find ways to bring in things, import things that no one else is bringing in. I think that's the main thing. I think just being in your industry, trying to be number one. Not to say that we are, but in our minds, we try every day to be number one in what we do. We might not be number one, but we strive for that. And I think if you do that, I think that's our culture. I think we try and be one step ahead the whole time, where it's improving the look of the shop, where it's improving our online store, which Delise is excellent at that. He's the Kononi with that, where it's improving the online store, whether it's improving our system. Our system's been very good. I mean, the system that we got is second to none. I think we're the only ones in the space industry that have it. Am I correct?
Yeah, far as I know.
Just improving staff, improving your look of your store, improving your service, improving your stock levels, improving the stock that you bring in. Make sure you got stock that no one else has, so you force a customer to come into your store. And once they come in, they get mind blown. So I think that's just those factors, just being one step ahead of everyone else.
It's constant innovation.
Yeah.
If you don't innovate, you die. Literally.
Yeah.
I actually watched a movie recently called the Blackberry movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It just shows multi-billion-dollar company just because they failed to innovate. Apple came in and better product, and they weren't willing to innovate as well, and they just took over. So competition is always there. It's a good thing for the country, for the state, because it gives the client options. It gives consumer better better products, better services, because there is competition. So don't always look at it as a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, especially for the states. And always innovate, always innovate, always innovate. You face the challenges and they come, and just keep innovating, becoming better processes, that type of thing.
And I think competition is a good thing, because the more competition me and Delisa have in the automated industry, it never keeps us complacent.
Yeah.
I think number one thing, that's another thing that I need to address. Complacency in your business is a no-go. If you're complacent, before you know it, it's a slow killer. It's going to take over your company and you'll have nothing left. You can't be complacent. You got to be on top of it. And I think that's where competition comes in. It's not a bad thing, because when a company is doing one thing, you want to do another. So you see another company doing another thing, you want to step it up. So competition keeps us on our toes. It's actually an awesome thing. I love it. It's competition. It's the best. I strive for that. We strive for competition. We strive to be number one. That's where the number one comes into. So competition is a bad thing, and it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes the reward so much sweeter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like playing sport.
100%.
What do you want to play sport for if you don't win anything? If you don't win, it just becomes, after a while, it'll be fun in the beginning. After a while, like, this is boring. Whereas if you keep getting challenged, keep doing things, I mean, It just shows you with anybody, with anything, if there's not enough of a challenge, you'll just stop doing it. And that's where competition in the business place, in the workplace comes in. When you've got competition, there's somebody pushing you. It can be literally the best thing for you.
It's the best. And we've got some competition out there.
Yeah,
we won't mention names. But we've got you.
We're coming
We're coming for you. We will not mention your names on podcast, but we know who you are and you know who we are, and we're coming.
It's all good. It's all good. And maybe we might be competition to other people. It's just how it is, but it just sparks the innovation.
And that's another thing. We might be competition to other people, and we push their level higher.
Of course.
The more they see us do, the more they want more. So it's actually a good thing for the whole automotive industry. The more we're pushing, other people push, and vice versa. And we just improve the standard of automotive parts in South Africa. And I think we've been operating for 9 years now. Is it 9 years? Since 2015.
Yeah, since Feb 2015.
Since Feb 2015, I've definitely seen an upgrade to
100%.
second-hand parts,
100%.
to spares in Gauteng.
Oh, 100%.
Not even in Gauteng, I think nationally. I feel like spares has stepped it up a bit. I feel like other spare shops are coming out, which is a good thing. I think it's definitely improved. And automotive industry, I'll be honest with you, I think in South Africa is probably one of the best in the world. To be my opinion. The way we operate in second-hand spares and new spares and spare shops in South Africa, I think we are one of the best in the world at what we do, honestly. There's no one, I mean, I've also traveled a little bit and I haven't seen spare shops to our extent, to a lot of other spare shops, massive spare shops in South Africa. So I think we're doing something right when it comes to automotive industry.
Yeah, the market's quite big, and in terms of second-hand parts or replacement parts. I think obviously in America it's also quite big. I mean, it's a big state, it's a big country. That's also a big market there. But from a few places I've been into Europe and in these type of places, it's there, but not as a big scale. I'm talking about countrywide now, not as a big scale as a necessity as it is here. So we hope it continues to grow, and we adapt. I mean, our market, when we started, was a whole lot different to what it is now. I mean, it was a lot easier to sell broken parts in the beginning. It's that thing must be perfect. It's just
and I think what's also nice of what we do, we provide the citizens, the general citizens of South Africa, an option. We give them an option.
Of course.
We
save money.
We're saving general citizens of South Africa a lot of money.
Of course.
I mean, if we weren't around, they'd have to buy from the agents. They'd have to go through the insurance route. So we definitely, as an automotive industry in South Africa, we're playing a big role in the economy on helping the normal general citizen. So we're doing good deed for the government, for our economy. So I think that is a plus.
And for end consumer, I mean, cars are just getting more expensive. Everything's just becoming more expensive. I mean, don't be wrong, the parts as well, but not at such a rate. It's very slow, gradual increases over the years versus other things. Sometimes it even goes down in price, automotive parts, because it just becomes on how many you produce, obviously how many cars there are, you can divide the costing between them. So it's definitely a great alternative. And I feel like not a lot of people know about the actual benefit of buying aftermarket and used parts, because I mean, even though it's aftermarket, because there's so much competition, that's why I say competition or capitalism in its sense is a great thing. Because what happens if someone's got a monopoly, they can sell the cheapest cuck because they know you can't buy it anywhere else, and they can charge you whatever they want. So now immediately when you bring other competitors into the game, he must either improve the quality, drop his price, improve his service. There's many ways to improve your product or your service, the thing you're offering, to compete and be ahead of the other person. And that person does the same thing, and then they do the same thing, and that's just how it goes along. So eventually you actually land up with the best quality product for the lowest price with the best service. That's where some people aftermarket is such great quality. It was a big thing back in the day, even when we started, the quality wasn't as great. But now
they're improving big time.
The aftermarket stuff you bring in is sometimes even the same, if not better, than what the agents or the original parts sell you. That's what's not, like I mentioned, it's nice about the competition and capitalism. So now, and not a lot of people know this. I mean, I've had friends who even know I do spares, and they'll still go to the agent. I'm like, why? when they hear, I'm like, oh yeah, I sell this. They're like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Well, you didn't ask. Okay, maybe it's also my fault. I didn't market to you. You know, this is where like warm outreach is also good. You know, everyone in your circle must know what you do, so you obviously outreach to them, and that's a good way of maybe you get a sale from them, whatever the case may be, or they refer you to somebody else, and that's how things work.
Yeah.
That they don't. There's so much cheaper options. I mean, not to say we're the cheapest on everything all the time. I mean, it's not the case. I mean, things happen like this. You're buying at different prices all the time. The prices fluctuate and all these things, but there's a lot of cheaper options. You don't have to go to always the agents, or you have to go to this person, that person. There's competition, and with competition, there's options. When you have options, you can save a lot of money, and not just let the mechanic do everything for you, whatever the case is. That's why there's so many different mechanics. There's so many different this. You have your options, and this gets like, I've rebuilt cars myself before. So buying accident damaged cars, fixing them up, selling them off. Obviously nothing too damaged, like a total write-off. No, nothing like that. I mean, it's still just mostly cosmetic damage. And by having so many options, also we had most of the parts that I own stored. So, you know, I got the things cheaper. But there's so many options. Like, if I had bought all those things from, say now, the dealer, I would have never made any money on this car. It wouldn't have been viable to buy it. So it's the same thing. Why will you do it? Why you just want to buy everything from them when your car's not damaged, but you can save money? And this is where we come in. This is where this whole industry comes in the used and aftermarket segment, because it's a cheaper alternative and not diminishing quality. I mean, the second-hand stuff is original, and I've seen, like I've mentioned, a lot of aftermarket parts which are even better than the original, if not the same or better. And there was a time where it was worse, but now it's not.
Yeah,
Now
the
it's not
quality is
case.
definitely improved.
You get a few items here or there where you maybe run into a bit of issues, but for the most part, for the majority, they fit just as
And
good.
I think where Deliso's coming into this topic now, and that's what we as B+D, we're trying to do. We're trying to, as crash fix parts, like we do engine parts, but as crash fix parts, we try and have the whole basket. So when I mean the whole basket, you know, whereas before when we started off, it was a bit difficult for us, but, you know, a customer would come in, you want the whole front on Polo, and we could only supply them the headlights and the bumper. Where we as B+D now, we're trying to be a one-stop shop, have the whole basket. So the guy wants the whole front end, we'll have in stock. And I think that is the game changer for us as well, is that we're starting to increase our stock levels, and in turn, customer comes to one place, gets everything he needs. He doesn't need to drive to 10 different spare shops to get all his front end spares on his Polo. He comes to B+D, he gets everything for a good price. Not to say we'll be cheap on everything, but on 6 of the 8 items they buy from us, he's getting a very good price. So I think that's also very important. I think us having the whole basket is a game changer.
We have a lot of stock on hand.
Yeah.
We keep a lot. And we, like I said, for those who don't know us, we specialize in all cars and all bakkies, all brands, from Toyota to Mercedes-Benz, BMW, all those type of things. So, which also makes it difficult on our end to keep all of these things. So you need space and all these things on hand for the clients to come in. I mean, it's difficult to have everything all the time, but we obviously strive to get there quickly and to have it at the best possible price.
Okay, now you've mentioned markets. Now, everything you guys have here in South Africa specifically is obviously market dependent. You're not going to provide a product that no one here is going to buy.
Sure.
So, obviously, with, as I mentioned earlier, the way the automotive industry is moving forward technology-wise, electric vehicles are now becoming a thing. Obviously, parts and stuff for those type of vehicles are still new, still being produced. Will B+D in the future be stocking a Tesla bumper, for example?
Well, to be honest, it's the principle stays the same. I mean, if it's an electric car or it's an engine automated vehicle, it's the same principle. Body spares stay, the crash fix parts stay the same. So obviously, anything that comes in demand in the country, we will have in stock. So
this is the point I'm going to make, where innovation is key.
yeah.
Now that you asked that question, we've already got 3 suppliers for these parts. So if I wanted Tesla parts tomorrow, I could get them. But Will that work in SA? I don't know if, this with the whole electricity issue we have here. So I don't know if it will come to play as yet, but we are prepared for it when it does come. So if, say, now electric vehicles do take over the market here and they start getting more popular, then just shoot an email away. Listen, I need all these parts, and I'll get it delivered to me.
But so when it comes to the spares, we try to stick to the fast-selling automated vehicles first. So we'll rather keep big hand of stock on fast-selling items like your VW Polo, your whole VW range actually, from Polo to T-Cross to Tiguan to Amarok, and then obviously your Toyotas, your Audis, your BMs, your Mercs. So we try and keep more the fast-selling items first. Whereas, like you're saying, an electric car for now, it's not going to be a fast-selling item. So for us to actually bring it in will be a waste.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when the time comes, like Delisa was saying, when the time comes in, you see quite a few Teslas on the road or electric vehicles on the road, then we will be ready for that.
And the benefit of that is these vehicles, like the Teslas, for instance, if you now go overseas to Europe, Dubai, wherever you go to, those vehicles are already there. And especially in America as well. They're all over the show. So there's one benefit of South Africa getting everything last is that it's already being produced somewhere else. It's just about getting it from there to here. So, but we always late on the trends. Like I mentioned as well with the BlackBerry scenario. Like when that whole scenario with them happening, we were going under, that happened in like 2007, 2008. That's the time we only got the phones here. Yeah, it was big here. Meantime, the company was already going down. So it just shows you we delayed on all these things because our market is just not as big as the States and these type of places. So that's the one benefit actually of being here than there is by the time the need comes here, you've already got the supplier, you've already got the stock there that you can bring in.
So I think a more important message to the people is that when the time comes, B&D is ready.
No, of course, definitely. We're ready for anything.
Number one in South Africa. But that's why we call ourselves Space for Days, but we are number one. In my eyes.
100%.
I don't know about what other people think, but we're number one. That's okay.
Now, obviously, let's not take away from the fact that you two were always cousins. That's how that began.
Yes.
Now, starting a business with family has its pros and cons. Now, typically it's preached against because you can't trust family. That's the notion. How do you navigate the dynamics of your relationship while running a now successful business together?
I don't think it's... I've heard this statement a lot, don't get me wrong. It's a common thing. This whole, you can't work with family. To be honest, you can't work with a lot of people. Family's got nothing to do with it.
100%.
I know people who are on my family. I'll never sorry my language, but I'll never deal to do business with this like in my life. So it's not about, I really don't think it's the family issue.
No.
The only thing where people like mention that is because they don't know how to confront their own family member. It just makes that, the family member part can maybe just add the emotional aspect into the situation versus like speaking to a random person. You have got no real emotional connection with the person. But it should actually be easier to speak to a family member than some random guy as well, because you know each other in and out. I mean, that's just an excuse, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
That's just an excuse.
And I think also, when it comes to that, don't go into business with someone that you don't have the same goals, the same visions, the same ideas, the same mindset, the same ambition. Don't even waste your time. You can be family, you can love each other, you can be brothers, you can get along well in a private situation. But when it comes to business, you got to have the same mindset, you got to have the same ambition, you got to have the same ideas. And I think that's what made me and Delizo's partnership work so well. Is number one, we got our same ideas, we are ambitious, we want the same things, we know what we want to do with the company to get to the next level. You got to be on the same page, because if you got a partner that 2 days or 3 days of the week he wants to be at home and you're like, no, come, we need to push. That is the difference, because that starts a little argument. That starts that resentment. Okay, now this guy doesn't want to work. He wants to stay at home. Now I must do all the work. So I think it comes down to, don't go into business with anyone if you don't have the same mindset and you don't have the same ideas. Then you're wasting your time. And I think that's when me and Delizo, we fit in perfectly, because we're both ambitious. We have the same mindset. And I'll be honest with you, and I can say this on live TV, me and Delizo never argue. We will disagree, but you'll never see us sitting in the office, shouting at each other, swearing at each other, getting upset with each other. Obviously, we do what's best for the company. So if there's things we disagree on, we sit down, we chat about it, and we do what's right for the company. Sometimes he's right, sometimes I'm right, sometimes he's wrong, sometimes I'm wrong. But in the day, if you've got the same ambition, you will do what's right for the company. And that's what we do all the time. So if I want to do a business situation and Delizo feels it's not right, I'm not going to go against him and do it. We sit down and we chat about it, we weigh the pros and cons. And if it's more on the con side, okay, Delizo, I agree with you, let's not do it. And I think that is the main thing. I think if you don't have that connection when it comes to same ideas and plans and ambition, don't rather go on your own.
With obviously the 9 years in business together, how has your personal bond evolved throughout this journey?
It's actually stayed the same.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were close before we even got into business together. So that's why it felt kind of natural. It felt kind of easy. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's obviously not gone. Yeah, it's pretty much the same, really. I mean, we're still close. We still see each other all the time.
It stays the same. Nothing changes. It's just what changes is our business evolves. That's about it. But we as people, we're the same. The interactions with each other is the same. Nothing changes. We're the same from
when we were kids till now.
Nothing changes. Why must it change? Money shouldn't change that. People shouldn't change that. So I think we're just real. We're just who we are, and we stick to who we are. And I think that's another. Like, I know I'm going out of topic, but I feel like it's very important, is that when you do get to the stage where your business starts becoming successful, don't let money change you. Because I think when money starts changing a person, it can become a problem, eh? I mean, you can start making wrong decisions. You can start thinking you're better than other people. You start building bad relationships with people. For me, be humble all the time. Whether you got 10 billion in your account or you got 1 rand, be real, stick to who you are, don't change for no one. Yes, you might have a better fancier car, you might have a nicer house, but be yourself, be humble, don't change for no one. And I think that's very important. I think that's why me and Delizo also work, because we stay the same. Yes, we might have more as our business grows, but we don't change who we are as people. Money will never change me. And I think that's the most important.
Yeah, look, money's an amplifier. So, I mean, if you were a dick before you had money, you'll be a dick when you have it. I mean,
so don't be a dick.
Exactly. So it's I don't think it changed. So you was mentioning it changes in a way. I think it's I'd say maybe more as an amplifier. Like, it really brings out your true inner self, like what you actually think. And this is why you mentioned, like, why people go and visit the family. I think it's actually a benefit, because you know your family member in and out, so to speak. Not everything, but you have a good idea of who you're getting into business with versus a random person or someone you maybe just met, because you've seen them through their ups, you've seen them through their downs, you know them when they're private, what they say, what maybe the person speaks about another person when they're not around or something like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's actually a benefit with going in with a family member, because you'll know them a lot better than you'll know any other random person.
Even me and Delizo will share water. You want some water?
Yeah, let's have water.
We share from the same bottle.
That's hot.
Hey, what's wrong? You scared of you don't want to.
No, I had the flu recently. I don't want to make you sick.
No, you see now he's gonna make me sick, but it's okay.
So I'm safeguarding you there.
So yeah, I think stay true to yourself. Be in a partnership for life, not short term. I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make. They're in partnership for a short time, not a long time.
It's hot in here.
So
it's cooking.
Yeah, we as B+D, we need to invest in aircon. We don't have one yet.
Yeah,
but it will be coming soon next podcast. So
yeah.
So now, reflecting back on the past 9 years, what have been the most memorable moments or milestones from this business?
Would you like to start? Lisa, would you like to start with this one?
Sure.
I've got many. There's a lot.
It's milestones. Yeah, look, everything was kind of a milestone. I mean, in the beginning when we started, we didn't even have our own trailers, our own vehicle. We had our own cars. We had rent trailers. put a turbo on my car and pull this trailer full of parts, you know. So eventually everything was like, it was nice. We had our big long-term goal, and we have obviously a lot of shorter ones. So it was nice. This is the lucky thing about it, especially in the beginning, where you're hitting these things. Bah, bah. So as you grow, obviously a little bit bigger now, the goals take a little bit longer because your goals can't be as small all the time. You know, you have these small goals, but it's bigger things you have to start reaching for now. So it just makes that reward even better. But I mean, the short-term rewards are also quite nice, the short-term goals you hit. So, you know, in the beginning, we've bought our first bakkie. Then the better bakkie that was reliable. And then our first trailer. Then the second trailer, the second bakkie. And, you know, those other things went along. And I had a bigger store, you know, more staff, more stock, these type of things. And I think a good milestone for me was opening the second branch, which is the one we're at now. And the bigger one. It's a good challenge. It was nice. It was a very good challenge. Just to see, okay, how we can grow these things and how we can grow the store and, you know, getting more people involved, that type of thing. It's nice. It's actually like a milestone. You actually start building a company versus a business, so to speak. And people you obviously interact with. And this is why we actually wanted to start this whole podcasting and being on YouTube. It's something different. It's something different, like let's explore things. Let's try things. Let's have a bit of fun with things. No harm came from trying, right? We'll see how it goes. But no, there's been a lot of milestones. I mean, I can't think of them all right now. But those I'd say more the bigger ones. You know, we constantly testing our abilities.
I think personally for me, because we start our business from scratch, everything we do is a milestone.
100%.
Because
from nothing,
everything that we improve is a milestone. We never had it before. So I think that for
we were
me,
literally selling parts out of the garage.
Yeah, so I think that for me is a milestone on its own. Like everything that happens, everything we change, everything evolves. The company logo changed.
Yeah.
We evolved.
This couch is a milestone. I never had a couch in the shop before. So literally everything.
Is it a sleeper couch? Can we sleep on it?
No, I wanted the sleeper couch. We can sleep this way.
Another thing, advice: don't sleep at work. No, actually, this couch is a bad thing. We might just sleep at work on lunch break. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, so everything's kind of milestone. I mean, it's all nice, but yeah, we'll see where we get to next.
B&D itself is a milestone. From where we started, B&D should not even be here.
Yeah, look, there's one thing also I can say. I think I've heard one person say this before. Actually, I follow his content a lot. Fusita Maguire. He actually mentioned that entrepreneurship is a lonely road. The odds were always against us when we started off. I can't even tell you, the amount of people telling us not to do it was a lot. And this is now where you really see, when you go through these tough times, who's on your team and who's not. And when you actually start a company, your friends will change. Maybe even stop speaking to certain family members. Because this we really see now who's out there for your best interest, who wishes you the best, versus the ones who are just a fan. They just want you there to keep them company. And it's a lonely road. In the beginning, everyone is negative about it. Everyone's trying to put you off the idea. No, play it safe. Go work for them. Go do this. Go do that. I mean, nothing great ever achieved has come from easy life. You have to do the hard thing. You have to take the chance. You have to take the risk.
You got to take the risk.
And now everyone's saying, yo, what you did was brilliant. I would have invested in your company as well. Yo, you say this now because once you've seen the result. But in the beginning, when we were asking for help or whatever the case may be, there was none. Look, I won't say totally none. There were a few. But that's why, like you said, now we're still in contact. You know, you build the family a bit closer. Entrepreneurship is a lonely road. In the beginning, when you start off, when you get kicking, there's going to be very little people who are actually there to help you, give you advice, be there for you during these things. And then obviously they're important people. So be expectant of that. Not only is going to be there waving the flag at you, hey, well done, yeah, push on. There's none of that. That comes after once you've made it. Like, oh, okay, yes, I should have been. We all, back in time, we all would have bought 100 Bitcoins. We all would have done everything. It's just how it is. Because once you see the end result. But for the most part, no one's there in the beginning. It's very select few people that'll be there for you in the beginning. So be prepared for that.
100%. Stick to B&D space, you'll be famous.
I had another question. I was thinking of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're that good at answering questions that you...
In the first segment, So after my first question, you guys answered almost all of them, and I've changed it on the spot to try and adapt it.
That's how when we do something, we did right once. Yeah, I think I got some questions for you, Deli.
Yeah.
First question, this is going to put him on the spot. Are you ready for this one?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So what do you think of me as a business partner?
Okay, that's a nice question.
Not as a cousin, as a business partner. So what do you think of
as
me?
a business partner.
That's a good one, man.
It's a good question. I like it.
Hey, say good things, eh?
It's pretty easy. I mean, it's not a hard question per se. Look, obviously, I got no complaints. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be in business with you in the first place. But no, good. I mean, obviously you got a lot of drive, which I like, and it can sometimes obviously help me when I don't feel it at the time. And obviously your willingness to get things done immediately, which is good, because I feel like procrastination is one of the negative, the inhibiting factors to success. I mean, always pushing things to tomorrow, and you eventually never get it done. So yeah, your drive, your determination to do these type of things, and obviously I can trust you. We've obviously been together for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have actually gone in. Well, you never know, but from what I could say, I don't think I would have gone into this with anyone else. So yeah, for the most part, I'd say that. I mean, like I said, you're honest with me, and we're honest with each other, and we push in that sense. Yeah, you have the drive, which I like. Like I said, your willingness to succeed will influence me, and maybe we influence each other on these type of
100%.
things. And yeah.
I agree with that one.
And on your side, what do you think of me?
Do you guys want to know? To be honest, it's pretty straightforward. You're joking around a little bit. Like, what's the positive things that I can honestly say about you, Delisa, is, you're always willing to expand, to learn, especially when it comes to the technological side, the sci-fi side, if you want to call it, where Delisa's pretty good at
aliens.
He's pretty good at the systems. He's always willing to learn more, to do more. He's pretty brain savvy with these type of things. So I think that's where, I say it sometimes to him, I congratulate him and I thank him for the things he does for B&D. As much as I do a lot in the background, he does tireless work behind the laptop, which me personally, I don't really like sitting behind a computer. It's not my thing. I'd rather be hands-on with staff and interaction with suppliers and customers and that type of thing. And I think that's where Delisa comes in, and he brings a lot of value to the company when it comes to systems and the online stores and that type of stuff. So I think that's where you bring your expertise and your value to the company, which is very important. The things that he does is extremely important. I mean, systems that he's put into place is next to none, and that's all because of Delisa. I mean, I can't take credit for that. That's not my expertise. I'm not good at that. And that's when he came in and used his brain savvy and sat down and did some research and kept on doing research until we got a system that works perfect for what we do. And I think our system, to be honest with you, is one of the best for what we do. It's excellent. It can grow with a business. So he did his research properly when it comes to that. So I think that's where I don't have any negative things to say, because we've never had any negative situations. That's also very important when we discuss partnership. It's always good where one partner is good at certain things and the other partner is good at other things.
Yeah.
And I think that somehow, God willing, I don't know, the partnership we have, we help each other, we help the company. He's good at certain things, I'm good at certain things. I'm weak at certain items, he's strong at certain items. And I think that combination, that recipe that we have really works. To find that's not easy.
Yeah, there's no real point in going into partnership with getting a partner who's exactly the same as you.
And
you might as well just not have one.
When we got into this business, I mean, we didn't know any of these things. I mean, and that's where it comes into play, where I got my determination, that no give up attitude, always wanting more, do things straight away, and where he comes in and he brings his expertise when it comes to systems. And when we started off, we were using invoice books. We didn't use any computer systems.
Cash slip.
We used to write pen on paper.
No change, take chappies.
And I think that's where he innovated the business as B&D with the systems, and the systems works brilliantly. I mean, to be honest with you, the system saved us in a lot of ways. Time, checking your stock, theft, You know, we can control theft a lot better. You know, not to say there is theft here. I mean, we got a good bunch of team here. We're a family. I mean, I don't doubt anyone here for that. But I mean, theft is one of those things. We can check stock properly. We can check what sells fastest, what doesn't sell fastest. With a system, we can see what we can import, what we should be concentrating on importing. Whereas before, we didn't have that. And I think the systems can make our business grow because, especially with the importing, the way we import, it tells us the fastest lines that we sell. So what we do, we bring it in. So, and the system does it all for us. So I think, yeah, there's no negative at all. Not one bit.
Okay.
So I suppose that sort of answers the question before I've even asked it, but the question would be, have you thought about going your separate ways in business because of something you don't like about the other person?
No.
Not at all.
No. So to be honest with you, like B&D is our life, and we want to expand B&D and do more with B&D. But if other business ventures come up, we will do together. We won't do...
Yeah, I'd say if we, I don't think it might not happen anytime soon, but I mean, if we ever sell this, we'll probably go into business and do something else together.
So we will probably get into other business ventures together. And I still mentioned it to him the other day. I wouldn't want another partner. If Delizo is not my partner in the next business venture, I will go on my own because I wouldn't want another partner. So yeah, no, not at all. That's for me. I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah, so no negative. I mean, like as Brandon's mentioned, we've had our disagreements before. It's normal. I mean, even with your spouse, you can't agree with everything. As long as you just work through them and we understand what's best for the company, then there'll be no problems. I mean, I don't foresee any issues like that. Just being, just having the humility to take the blame on something, to take more, like I was mentioning to the guys as well in the workplace, accountability is extremely important. No one is perfect. We can't make all the right decisions all the time. But just be accountable of what you stand for, what you've decided to do on your decision. If it didn't work out, okay, cool, sorry guys, my bad. Let's try this way now, or your way, or whatever the case may be. Obviously there's a bit of compromise in a lot of the things. It's normal. It has to happen. I think by thinking everything you come up with or every decision you make is right is so arrogant and it's so narcissistic. Besides maybe listening to my partner, and staff can come up with ideas as well. And sometimes we implement them because a lot of the times maybe the salesmen, they're in the front line now, they get a lot of the communication and the feedback from the customers, and they might recommend maybe a certain scenario or certain thing that will benefit the system or process or whatever the case may be, and we implement, we try it out. I mean, if it doesn't work, okay, cool guys, this decision didn't work out, but sometimes they do. And literally as owners, like, we're still humans, don't get me wrong. So to sit and be arrogant and not listen to other people, especially in your workplace, I think is a big mistake.
100%.
Take advice where you can, or try new ideas. That's where innovation is a thing. I mean, there's a lot of things are invented that just never work out, but it takes that one to and you just skyrocket. So eventually that one will happen.
We're not there yet.
But we always try to innovate. We're trying to push new ideas, a different way of doing things, and eventually it will pay off.
Definitely. I got a question for you.
Okay.
So what do you feel about B&D since you've come into B&D?
I think the dynamic is miles apart from any other company that I've seen. Now, this is my second company I've worked at. First in this field. Now, I actually started with mechanical engineering. That was my degree. And it's good to know that companies like this create an opportunity for someone who hasn't necessarily studied in a particular field, but has a skill set, experience, or knowledge to be able to, explore what they're trying to get into. So I think you guys as owners complement each other quite well. Because like you're saying, you're the more hands-on, you're the more tech-savvy. And I mean, staff meetings that we have, it's interesting to see how that sort of plays in the things you say. You would be more... Okay, look, the goal for both of you, from what I've heard so far, is you want everyone to be sort of a manager in your field, because that way you're taking control of it, you're making it yours. And when you make it yours, you do better in it. So I've seen sort of that more hands-on and that approach from you in the things that you say, how you want people to get on it. But I think, like you're saying, the goals are the same for the both of you, and that comes across. Because the things that you do, it may not be communicated, but it's still there. Sort of like a subliminal reminder that you both are owners with the same goal for the company. You don't need to be there at the same time to sort of push that same goal. And it's quite cool to see, because a lot of companies fail, like you were mentioning earlier, dictatorship. and bosses who don't lead by example. They
Yeah.
just pay you and expect you, oh no, this is your role, this is your description, do it. Like you were saying, you guys did everything, all the roles that are now in your company, yourselves at one stage. So it's sort of good to know that anything I want to go into, you guys have probably done it before.
100%.
And if I need advice in that, you are there. Obviously, if it's something out of my field of expertise.
And it's a good thing that you mentioned, and I think that's an important part in being a business owner, is in the beginning you must do everything. Because when you don't, it becomes a problem. Because you're employing someone to do a specific job. You've never done it. Now, because you've never done it, you think they're doing their job properly. Meanwhile, they're not. But if you've done every single part of your business, when you employ someone to do their job, you'll immediately pick up if they're doing something wrong or if they're not into the standard that you're looking for because you've done it before. So I think that's very important as a business owner. When you start off, I think we had no choice. Some people have a choice, but even if you have a choice, do everything in the beginning. Do everything in the beginning so you can know the ins and outs of your business, that no staff member can basically fool you on the work they're doing.
Yeah, even if you do employ someone off the bat, then you just shadow them and you watch and you see, okay, you maybe you take control of this half of the clientele, or I'll take control of this half, and you compare and you can see, okay, what things am I doing better, what things is this person doing better, and that type of thing.
And I think also what's important as business owner, like you were saying, the dictatorship thing, like Eliza also mentioned, I think you shouldn't be a dictator, but I think you should be more of a motivator.
Yeah, look, don't be soft.
Don't be soft.
No, I'm not saying that. Don't be like, okay, do what you want. No.
I think
you must be firm.
Don't be firm, but be firm as in motivating the person to do more. Motivating your staff to want more. Motivating your staff to do a certain culture in your company. I think it's more that we're not the type of owners that want to demotivate a staff member. We want to uplift. Obviously, there's so much uplifting you can do. You know, when you uplift a staff member, it brings the best out. If it doesn't, then you know you've got a problem. But I think our main goal is to more uplift our staff than to bring them down. We're not necessarily dictators. I mean, there will be times that we be like shouting, but shouting to motivate, not shouting to like bring the guy down. You know, we want to uplift our staff. We want them to feel energized. We want our energy to pass on to them. And the energy in our whole company is like that. I mean, it's Ronaldo's the same, Zerezi is the same. The energy they give out, it gets pulled on to everyone else. And that's what you want in your company. You want a good vibe, a good energy. People that want to work, they enjoy what they do. They come to work energized. They come to work, I want to see my boss. He pushes me. He makes me go that extra bit. That's what we're about. And I think,
So I suppose it does come back to the whole idea of setting the example.
100% in the culture.
It's that whole top-down approach, if you want to call it that.
I'm not trying to brag about B+D, but any customer that comes into the store, they feel the presence and the energy straight away. They just feel like, wow, these people are friendly. These people are busy. I mean, me as a business owner, I help customers. I still do that. And they don't know I'm the owner. And while I'm helping them, like, your service is one of a kind. The energy you give, the quickness, they're so surprised, they're so shocked. And that's maybe the example that I want to set for everyone else. Bring the energy, bring the service, show the customer that they're important. Do more, be quick, be efficient. Make like that's the only customer you have. When you do that, it's a game changer.
Speaking on that, when you said you do help customers and they don't know, the first time I came here to meet you, I had no clue who I was looking for. I was obviously told a bit of information. I see people walking around with the shirts and whatnot, but I didn't know who I'm supposed to be looking for.
Sure.
And like you just said, no one really knows who the owner is because you guys don't act like
100%.
the owners for the customers. You're just another person trying to help.
Yes, and I think that's the most important thing as well as B+D is that we're all one. Yes, me and Delizo, we're the captains of the ship, but we all a team. We're a team. It's a team effort. And we're not here to dictate and be a boss. We're here to guide and lead everyone to the culture that we want. Like, yes, everyone makes mistakes. We're here to help them rectify the mistake and that they don't do it again. And I think that's what we're more about. I don't even feel like, with a lot of other companies, when you look at the bosses, the staff are scared of them. Whereas with us, the relationship we have with our staff, yes, I wouldn't say scared. They know what's expected, but they can have a joke with us. They can have a laugh with us. They can interact with us. If they've got a problem, I can vouch that for myself. Anyone's got a problem, they can come and speak to me. And I can be like a brotherly figure for them or a fatherly figure for them. And that's what I want. I don't want people to be scared to tell me anything. If there's an issue, they must address it with me, and then we sort it out because we're a family. And I think that's what's important. You got to have a nice family structure with your staff. And once you have that, you got one goal, one vision. The sky's the limit. I mean, there's endless possibilities of what you can do. So I think that's what we were about.
I agree with that. That's definitely the case. It's definitely important. So, yeah, I've nothing really to add to that. Pretty much covered everything there.
I think the way I'm answering questions, like the way I do things at work, everything get done one time.
Just once. No need to ask another question. It's already answered.
No, my stomach is talking now. I don't eat something.
So, sort of to go back to the point of, well, for myself, where I started and where I'm in now, in terms of the whole idea of university, degrees, whatnot. What is your stance on that in terms of making a success of what you want to go into?
My personal opinion, I'll let Delizo answer that as well. My personal opinion, studying is not everything. For me, what's more important is perfecting your workplace, what you do. I mean, you can study, you can perfect your studying, but when you go into something that you've studied in, it's a different ball game. It's completely different. You're dealing with people now. You're dealing with different colleagues. You're dealing with customers. You're dealing with different situations where studying doesn't teach you that. Yes, it might teach you the basics, but it doesn't teach you the ins and outs of the industry that you're in. So for me, I feel like studying is not the most important. I feel like going to something that you enjoy doing, like what you're doing now, perfect it day in and out. And if you do that, you can be successful without a degree. We don't have a degree in space. What matters good in space? Day in, day out, doing the same thing. Learning, dealing with customers, learning parts, learning different type of parts, learning different supplies, doing different things. And every day you do these things and you repeat what you do, you become better at what you do. I think there's a saying that Bruce Lee has a saying. Instead of doing 5,000 different kicks, do one. Do one kick the whole time. How good will you be at that one kick? Instead of learning 10,000 different type of kicks. But if you do that one kick 10,000 times, you perfect it. And I think that's the same thing for us. Perfect what you do. Studying for me, look, people might bash me for this. Studying for me, it's for this day and age, it's not. I would not, even for my kids, I don't think I would want them to study. I think it's a waste of money and a waste of time. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I think it's for the most part it's a trap by the system. Look, I think maybe for a few certain things you need to study. So obviously, if you want to be a doctor, you need to know what you're talking about. Obviously,
yes,
you need to know the theory
ballgame.
part behind that, and maybe as a lawyer, you need to study to learn all the laws.
100%.
That type of thing.
That's
there's a few
different.
In civil engineering, that type of thing. But maybe even civil, you can even learn by experience. But for the most part, you can learn everything just by being in it. It's the same thing now. I give you a book now on how to ride a bike. You read that book 1,000 times. You've never been on a bike before. And then you go climb on that bike. You think you're going to know how to ride that bike. No, you're going to fall over. The first thing you do is when you get on it because you need to learn how to balance. A book is not going to teach you that. So this is what I'm saying is, for the most part, I think studying is a waste. Like Brandon was saying, it's a waste of money, a waste of time. Because you give up 3 years for a minimum. There's some you study a bit longer if you want your masters and your honors and all these type of things. You give up at least 3 years of your life to study something that you probably won't even be working in when you're done studying. Case in point.
There we go.
These BCom degrees is all nonsense. What is that book going to teach you? I mean, from the most of what I've learned, even when I was in school, in high school, there's maybe a small bit that I apply maybe to today.
Yeah.
But nothing I couldn't have learned if I wasn't like where I'm in now. and you're working. The most you'll learn is from experience by being practically in it, because no book is going to teach you everything you need to know. I mean, you get like lawyers, for instance. There are some better than others. They all read the same book. It's all the same thing, but why is their output different? The book is just theories. It's maybe a guideline to go back to if you need to check up on something, whatever the case may be. Is like, obviously reading books is like of other entrepreneurs. It's just them telling their story and what maybe there's a few keys that you can get out of it. But as a whole, no, I don't think so.
So to the viewers out there,
you can learn that
nothing's
regardless.
impossible. You can do anything you put your mindset to. Just because you don't have the degree doesn't mean you can't be successful.
No, of course not.
You can be successful by doing anything.
It's just what you like, what you want to push.
You can be successful cleaning rubbish. You can be successful selling parts. You can be successful starting your own takeaway. Or you can be successful starting your own restaurant and you make it a success. You can do whatever you want. It's just all up to you and what you want in your life and where you want to go. Not because of the degree you have or the knowledge you have and what you study. That means absolutely nothing.
I mean, even for the most part, you could probably learn these things without even going to university. I mean, the information is everywhere right now. If you wanted to become a lawyer, you could probably just read all the law books and then study them and know that you know all the theory. And then just go take the bar exam, whatever the case, and become a lawyer. Okay, I'm just quoting, paraphrase. I don't know what it actually takes to become a lawyer, but I'm just saying, for the basic, for the most part, you could get hold of the information without even having to go to varsity or college and pay those sums of money and just be screwed by it at the end of the day, especially student loans. I think it's absolute nonsense. Because you're trapped for 3 years and then you're going to be trapped for another 3 to 5 years after that, paying the loan back by working for this company. So especially when you're at that age, it's your most energetic years. I'm not old, don't get me wrong, but I had a lot more energy when I was 21 or 19 years old, So I think it's just a waste of time. Bear in mind, obviously, it depends, or there are exceptions, it depends what field you want to get into. But I mean, for the most part, if there's somebody who's there willing to train you, then cool. Then you go in and go work for them. Even if it's a smaller company, you'll learn a lot more from a smaller company than a big company.
Like, speaking about that same topic now, like what to do with our industry, with automotive industry, you can study 10,000 books. But if you don't have working hours in front of the salesman learning space, you will know nothing. And that's, I think, the challenge that we have when it comes to employing salesmen is that. I mean, the guy can tell you he studied engine parts, he studied body spares, but when he comes in, he knows nothing. It's a different ball game. With what we've learned with the sales here, you start doing well once you spend a bit of time interacting in the business, dealing with customers, dealing with different type of parts. I think that is the best studying, is physically doing the work. And that is our challenge now. We struggle to get good salesmen because they don't have working experience, not studying experience, working experience in the field that we're in.
Takes a while.
I think that's our challenge. It takes about a year to start.
I'd say a year before you really know
start
your
really
things.
getting like on top of things and that type of stuff. But yeah, that's a good question.
It takes a while.
Very good question.
Yeah, it's quite a controversial topic at the moment because, like you said, trapped in the system.
Of course.
There's this whole common matrix.
But it's the same thing, like, look, if you say now, and I've heard various scenarios about this, besides other limiting factors. You got two candidates, let's say there's both the same age, height, ethnic background, all these things. The one's got a 3-year degree, the one's got 3 years experience. Which one gets hired?
You take the one with
The one with experience. It's always the case. Unless you have other factors, whatever the case. I'm just saying if that factor was the only one considered. But for the most part it is. Because practicality will teach you way more than a book will. Without a doubt. You're just going to learn. And to be honest, school is designed to make us employees. It's designed to keep us in a bubble. Not to say, I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. I don't think that. There's certain people who just can't handle it. And that's okay. I mean, you must be happy with what you want. In the end of the day, happiness is subjective. Or success is subjective. You can't be happy all the time. I mean, just overall, we're happy people. But you're going to have days where you're sad, you're angry, these type of things. But it's all subjective. So what I want out of life is going to be different to what you want out of life. So For me to expect now, okay, now everyone must be entrepreneurs. Then who's going to be working at the stores? You know, these type of things. It's just, it's not for everybody, and which is right. I mean, you should do what you want out of your own life, what you find happiness in, what you find success in, all these type of things. So as for us, I say, especially for me, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I want to test my limits. I want to grow a company. I want to be the owner. I want to be the leader, whatever the case may be. From what the schools and the institutions teach you, it's the opposite. So that's where I'd say that's why I never wasted my time in going into studies. So at the time, I could have gone study further. I wanted to do electrical engineering, and it's tough. Like every exam, you have to pass with 80% and above. Not that I was too concerned about that. I was quite clued up with a bit of it already at that stage. But at the time, my parents weren't well off to pay for my studies. So I got offered a student loan. It was like a slash bursary, like a half thing. If I met my mark, they would pay, and that type of stuff. And then for some reason, already then I could see this is a scam. This is a scam. It's nonsense. I'm like, okay, so they gave me this. I'm like, so if I don't pass one test in that term with 80% and above, they don't pay nothing.
Yeah. Then it's your
I'm
whole
like,
year.
okay, so obviously they push you to get the results. And I'm like, okay, so they pay half, and then the other half you pay off when you start working.
Yeah.
Whatever company hires you, don't you? So, I mean, I'm with you for 3 years. Okay, to get a proper degree would have been 4 years, and then still paying my debt of 3 years later. So, like, I'm kind of bound to this institution for 7 years. Can't go anywhere, you know, otherwise I'll be liable to pay this debt. And it's just at that point, I'm like, screw this makes no sense. I'm like, and there's no guarantee then after that I get the job that I want that's going to pay me X amount.
What I've noticed is that some companies then say that they can't afford you because you're overly qualified for your role.
Yes.
And then they sort of have to pay you a certain figure because you've spent this long in an institution to get that position. Then they can't afford you.
And
So-
look, there's other limiting factors for us as well, especially of our ethnic background. BE is a factor.
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to be straight up about it. I mean, there will be other ethnic backgrounds that will be picked before you, especially if you're white in SA. And that is a factor that people have to consider in SA. It is what it is. So what are the chances, even at that time, what were the chances of me getting the job? It was low. Unless I was super outstanding, which I don't know what would have been. But I mean, besides that, I also didn't want to be in debt to somebody where I haven't even made money yet and I'm already in debt. It just didn't make sense for me. So that's why I never went into that. I was like, you know what? No, I'll go work for somebody, learn what I can there, and try do my own thing eventually. Maybe we go, you know, at the time the possibilities were still, I didn't really know what was available.
Sure.
Up until I started working in the workplace. I'm like, okay, this could be something I would like to get into. I love cars. I'll definitely opening a dealership one day. Mark my words. Just for myself. So I can go there every day of the week and drive a car. I love cars. So to be in spares also / cars, that's why I really gravitated towards this. It really became something I enjoyed.
It fit your interest a lot
It fit my
more.
interest a lot. So it's very rarely the case you can find something that fits your interests where you work at the same time.
Yeah, that's not easy.
It's not easy.
That's why, I take my hat off to you as well, because you went into, you didn't go into what you studied, you went into what you enjoy doing, which is what you're doing now. And that takes character, and that's a good thing what you're doing. You go into something that you enjoy doing. And I think once you do that, you'll be successful. I think stick to what you enjoy doing. Don't go into something because of money.
Sure.
I think that's a lot of mistake that people make. They go into something because of the money. And then they don't enjoy it, and then they end up leaving it not because of the money, because they don't enjoy what they do. I feel like enjoy what you do, the money will come.
I think that way it feels less of a chore.
100%.
Yeah.
It feels less of a chore. You want to get up in the morning. You want to do more. You want to expand more because you enjoy what you do. And immediately when you do that, you're setting yourself with a recipe to be successful in what you do. So I really believe in that. Stick to what you enjoy doing. Don't go into something you don't enjoy doing. Because when you do, you'll end up leaving unhappy.
But also be aware, is your passion going to pay?
That is
You
a
must also
factor.
be careful. Luckily, that's what I'm saying, we're fortunate to be in this position. We enjoy this and it also pays. I mean, your passion is growing these plants and cutting them. You know, whatever your passion is, just I won't judge you. But
like
is that going to
cutting
pay?
bonsais
You
on the
get
week.
what I'm saying? So be aware of that, and then you might have to do something in the beginning. This is where discipline and hard work comes in to make the money so you can eventually get into your passion. Pump it enough where it actually becomes a business. Okay, this business is going like that. It's what I love doing, and then kick that one to the curb.
Yeah.
Sell it off. Okay, cheers, bye. So it just be, whether can you scale? Is this something you can make money from? If you can and it does both, then all the better.
Please subscribe to our channel so Jose can be successful in what he does. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Don't get his work done in vain.
Subscribe for Jose, please, not for B&B.
Just for me. So now, like you were asking about me sort of coming into B&D, this was an opportunity that I didn't expect. Obviously, it was something that was asked of me, not something I applied to.
Sure.
So that's where it caught me off guard a bit, and I saw it as an opportunity. No one just asks you to do something if it's for no good reason. There was obviously a reason for this, and that's why I almost jumped at the opportunity. I was quite excited for it. When Amy messaged me that day saying, don't you want to come do this for us? I will speak to the bosses, and then obviously that's where the meeting came about. But now for the people who don't get this opportunity, because that is a reality, not everyone will get this. Not everyone is visible enough to get it. How do they navigate? Because with the experience thing now, you have a choice in these, let's say, first 4 years after high school, because that's your average degree length, 4 years. You have a choice between working for a company, starting your own business, and if you're going the route of working for a company, you're either stuck between the trap of they want this many years or hours of working experience, or they need a degree. But now in that transition phase of that first 4 years, you don't really have either. So how does one go about obviously doing what they want when they're stuck in that sort of loop, that catch-22 almost?
That's a tough question.
Look,
Because that's something I've personally experienced.
Yeah.
Before I sort of took the leap into media, I did obviously apply for a job. Now I was still studying at the time, but I did apply for something, and the common response is we need experience or we need a degree. Now I never had either of those. So how does one go about that?
Yeah, look, it's tough. I mean, you know, we all
First,
dealt...
sorry, I'm going to stop here for a second. First thing you do, you work for free to get experience.
Yeah, you can do that.
You work for free. Tell them, listen, don't have to pay me. I just want this experience. And then you take it from there.
Yeah, so we all get dealt different cards in life.
Sure.
You know, not everyone gets the same opportunity as everybody else does. I think to expect that is to be naive. All I can say is maybe just put yourself obviously in the best possible scenario where things can go right. So basically, people say we make our own luck. It's not to say, yes, we get lucky in business. Sure, there's maybe a bit of luck involved, but you also make your own luck because you put yourself in a better position. In the day, you're playing odds. You can't say for a guarantee this works out, or this works out, or this is going to go bad, that's going to go bad. There's no guarantee of anything in life. So to expect that, you're being naive. And to expect anybody to come and rescue you is also naive. At the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, it's entrepreneurship especially is a lonely road. You can't expect anyone to come and rescue you, whether it be government, family, friends. You are responsible for you. Until you have a child, then you are responsible for the child. And to your spouse. Other than that, your responsibility is to nobody else at that point in time. Until you actually get dependents and all these type of things. So in that aspect there, like you're mentioning, you know, Brandon mentioned obviously a good point. You can go work for free. It's okay, do an internship by somewhere. Maybe you just get paid enough for petrol to get to the workplace. Then you can gain experience and gain skills. So that's obviously a good point. Who wouldn't want to get a discounted rate on work, you know, from an employee? And maybe they like you while you're doing this internship and they hire you.
Permanent job, yeah.
Or you might even stay there and become something with the company themselves. So it all depends. I mean, but you have to put yourself out there. If you're not like asking, you're gonna get 100 no's. You just need that one yes. That's all. That's all it takes. And I mean, like you were saying, is you here now because cool, you studied for one other thing, but you're also doing what you enjoy doing on the side, and you were showcasing it. And it takes one person to see it. The same way Justin Bieber got founded. He enjoyed singing. He was singing on YouTube. It took one bloke to see him, and next minute, boom.
Scouted.
Got scouted. You're in the right place at the right time. All I'm saying is, like I mentioned, we all get dealt different cards in life. It's maybe easier for other people to become wealthy than it is you. But I actually mentioned this to William the other day, is you can't compare yourself to other people like that. I mean, it's just the fact of life. We mentioned, we get dealt different cards. You're in a different situation. Where you were born, the time you were born in, these type of things, it's very different. Or like, yeah, you can't compare yourself to them, because once you do, it's a miserable road. Because you'll never be happy. You'll never be happy when you compare yourself to this bloke. He's comparing himself to somebody else, and it's just a vicious cycle. Be content and always strive. Like I say, you're working, and don't be complacent, but be content. Be happy with what you have at the moment, because there's always somebody else who has it worse. Whatever problem you go through, there's someone with a bigger problem, and we'll trade places with you in a heartbeat.
100%.
So-
That's actually very good advice.
Like, that's why I don't
That's
take
excellent advice.
I don't take challenges badly. You know, when we go through a cuck time, or we have big nonsense to sort out, like, yes, okay, maybe at the moment I'm frustrated. I even mentioned to Brandon that there hasn't been a challenge we've not overcome in business. We keep going through a struggle, this problem, and it ends up getting fixed. So I don't stress about them. I might get annoyed at the time, irritating, and then people are bugging me. I'm like, listen, I need to fix this problem, leave me alone. Once I'm done, we'll have a conversation, we'll have a coffee. But just remember, there's always someone who's got it more difficult than you, who will trade places with you in a heartbeat. And you're at the struggle, you're at this point in time, it's just something maybe you haven't learned yet. Simple as that.
Now that Elise was talking about that topic, and I don't want to go too far with this podcast, but what makes people successful is the ones that can handle pressure.
You need to handle it.
I think
happen.
I think the game changes the people that are very successful and the people that are average and the people that have nothing is what type of tolerance they're willing to take for pressure. So the more money you make, the more responsibility there is, the more the pressure there is. So I think that determines the big boys to the small canonis, is what type of pressure you're willing to take, because comes money, comes more pressure.
True.
You want a higher salary, you want to make more money, there will be more pressure because you need to perform on what you're doing, to bring the numbers, to pay your higher salary. So whether you're an employee, whether you're a business owner, it's the same thing. You want more money, you're going to have more pressure. You're not going to run away from it. So I think that's why some people like a bit of shy away just to take an average salary and be happy with it, because they don't want that type of pressure. But that's a choice. It's a choice you've got to make. That's why I respect people that are, not say well off, but are successful in business. Because being successful in business takes a lot of pressure. We don't see it, but let's take, for instance, Elon Musk. The pressure that he has, we can't even comprehend the pressure that he has.
Sure.
He's got so much pressure, but he is where he is because he can handle it. He does it.
And
He
that's where the
fights through it.
challenges come in.
And
They're
that's
there
when
to build your tolerance. Because a problem we faced now, like basically when in the beginning when we started, back then it seemed, sure, this is a big problem.
But now I feel
Now when it comes, you can sort this out. This is piss. You know, it's so easy because once you face it, it just becomes another thing. Like it's not. You have to build your tolerance to these things, and that's why you need to embrace the challenges that you face, because eventually they become small problems.
Space for days, but don't forget B&B.
So yeah, I think maybe we're gonna close it up.
Yeah, I think that was very insightful, especially for someone going into the working industry, going into the more adult years. Myself, more than anyone. It was very insightful, getting a lot of advice as much as recording this, listening as well. It helps a lot knowing that there's people who are willing to give the information, not to, as that's called, gatekeeping. There's no point, there's no benefit for anyone. So I do appreciate the advice. And yeah, I think the people know now that B&D is set for the top.
For
That's
sure.
fair to
I
say.
mean, if there's any questions you guys want to ask, I mean, feel free to leave it in
That's
the
a
comments.
guarantee.
Feel free to leave it in the comments, and maybe we can address it in the next podcast or the next video, whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
and even any questions. I mean, if people want to ask, even the youngsters, the young entrepreneurs, if they want to ask us questions that we've been through and we can help them, we can help. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to empower the youngsters to be better, because we're young ourselves. I mean, we're not old. And I always feel like the younger you are, the younger you start off on the right foot, the better. I think don't wait too long to have a plan and have a goal where you want to be, because you look again, time flies. You know,
It moves
time
quickly.
flies so quickly, and then you look again and you're not where you want to be. So the younger you start something and get something going, the better. So yeah, if there's any advice that our viewers, the viewers that we do have and the subscribers that we have that want to ask us questions, they're more than welcome to ask us, and we will answer as best we can from the experience that we've learned in our time, in our 10 years of having our own business. Yeah, we can maybe help them.
Thanks,
Sweet,
guys. Sweet. Peace out.
To one episode for the next, how many episodes we're going to have? 1,000?
Just we'll see. God
Joe
willing,
Rogan, we're
it will
coming
carry
for
on.
your boot.
Yeah, I need it. Ciao. Let's get some food.